And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. It is a Tuesday, the Tuesday before the Springboks take on Ireland at Loftus Festival, which means one very important thing. We do have a Springbok team announcement, and it's a very good team, a very, very strong team that Rassie Erasmus has announced. And we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be looking at the different options, the different decisions he has made. His press conference, by the way, is up and on the channel, so go and check that out as well. And we'll have a bit of some feedback, or a little bit of look at it from the island setup as well. I've just gotten back from a press conference there, so we'll have that as well. So lots and lots of content coming up on the channel as we build towards this weekend. And you can do your part by smashing a like on the video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, by the way. Consider becoming a member. We are obviously going down to Durban on the weekend for next week's second clash. So very busy times over here. In terms of the forecast, as I said, Rassie Erasmus press conference out now with Eben Etzebeth. Tomorrow we are going to be having more stuff from the Bok camp as well as on Thursday. Team announcement for Ireland will be on Thursday evening, and then Friday we'll have all the captains rounds. Before that, all fun Sunday gets underway on Saturday. So lots to look forward to over there. I'm sure we share the links on the social. Let's get some people up here and get some people into the chat, stuff like that. So the team is on the screen. I'm going to put up a poll saying, are you happy with the Springbok 23? Simple yes, no answer. It is not difficult, but what was I say? So is it not difficult? Go and vote. Just see yes there. Yes, no. And if you're not happy, though, this is my one request. If you're not happy with the team, tell us why. You know, don't be that person that just is a bit of a negative Nancy, and you talk about, oh, this shouldn't, I can't believe that this is the team we've picked, terrible team, etc., and then not be able to sit there and say, this is who I prefer, this is why I don't like the team. Let's have a discussion, and let's make it a proper discussion by, as mentioned, let me know what your potential gripes are with the team. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the experience, for example, and some of the comments we've had on the video. And I think we're going to be quite dismissive about some of them, to be perfectly honest. So there we go. Jump in the comments. Benjamin Schrader saying, do you know who will be wearing the, if we know we will be wearing the alternate kit? I have not had confirmation of that just yet, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what the story will be. We generally have worn the white kit when we play against Ireland. I suppose we'll find out at the very latest the team photo on Friday in terms of where we'll be wearing the green and gold. We're wearing our sort of Checker 60 kit, as many people call it. Jean Stewart saying, honestly, the way Thomas Tui's been playing, absolutely nothing less that to pick Gerard over him, I says, as a Bull supporter. Yeah, I suppose the only thing is that Gerard Steenekamp has been playing as a loose head throughout the season. Thomas Tuis playing basically 9 times. I think he played one game as loose head. Everything else has been a tight head. My score prediction, I'm not entirely sure. I want to see that Ireland team first, although we can obviously get a pretty decent prediction because Andy Farrell's been very consistent with his Ireland team selection over the years. But yeah, I'm going to reserve my team selection as a bit of a cop-out. I do think it's going to be a close game, though. I'd be very surprised if either team really runs away with it. Alti saying, given 2019 vibes, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Ricardo saying, solid team, just would have liked Ben Jason Dixon from the bench. Jean says, also, who goes to 8 if Kwaka gets hurt? And Kappa saying, perhaps with his career into the last days, there's space for Sashimani in the team for the future. Well, let's get into it in just a bit, shall we? As I say, I'm just quickly sharing the link onto the socials. Let's look at the team, shall we? And it's on the screen over there. So, Retseko Baditswe in share next to Bongi Manambi, France Maherba, Eben Etzebeth, Franco Marston. That tight 5 is stupidly experienced. Oxenchair, the only one in that tight 5 who has fewer than 69 caps. Pretty mental, isn't it? You then got Sekulisi, Pierce, Toy, and Kwaka Smith. Kwaka Smith starting at number 8, showing you how important he has become to the box over the years. Very good breakdown threat, and I think genuinely what I've been saying, obviously, breakdown threat's very important. Evan Etzebeth will also have an important part of that. Very underrated, actually, somebody who's at the breakdown. But I think for me, one of the big things I think Kwagga Smith's going to have to do this weekend is a scramble defense and having that pace in and around the park. Ireland plays such a high pace and a high octane sort of style of play that I think the pace of Kwagga Smith is going to be vital and going to be very, very important. 5 de Klerk starts as expected, extra 100 Pod. Very keen to see the type of game 100 Pod is going to play on Saturday. You then got Chesn Colby, Currie Lawrence, and Billy LaRue. I mean, it's X Factor on X Factor next to the assist king. And Damien Delende, Jesse Creel becomes, I think it is actually the most capped centre pairing of all time, or if not, it's like the joint most next to like Jacques Fourie and Jean de Villiers. Funny enough, actually, the moment before this game, it was Damien Delende and Lekanyam who was tied with Damien Delende and JC Creel, showing that Damien Delende has been the very much the go-to and the stalwart at 12 for many years. And then off the bench, it is Malcolm Marx, Gerard Steenkamp, Vincent Koch, Salman Murat, Arcus Neyman, Marco Wittstaden, Grant Williams, and Sasha Feinberg and Ngoma Zulu. Let's talk about, shall we? Because a lot of people talking about, you know, we know we've got all this depth, but this is basically just the team from 2019. You know, we're the new guys. You know, and I see Yassine Baker saying exactly that, saying going to be a boring game. We've seen the squad to death. We're not going to cap guys. Let's get game time. Do we not want to win this game? Like, I don't understand that. I'm very, very confused about this sort of attitude of, well, where are the new players? We've got a 2-match series against Ireland. Ireland we haven't beaten for years, by the way. This is the big grudge match for who's going to be number one. Why not play our best team? I mean, is that not our best team? And yes, some of these players have been playing since 2019. Okay, they've won 2 World Cups of British and Irish Lions series. Don't think they're shit rugby players. Which of these players, for example, don't deserve to be there? Peter Steph Toy, the former World Player of the Year. You know, Franco Mostert, one of the most consistent performances for the Boks in how many years? Eben Etzebeth, probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest Bok of all time. Oxen Chair single-handedly, you know, dominated England in that semi-final. Almost basically won us the semi-final with a cameo off the bench. Bongi Minambi, who's, you know, playing some of his best rugby ever in the last sort of year, since, especially after that injury to Malcolm Marx, who's 33 years old, probably won't make the next World Cup, but still has many years in him. By the way, if he does make the next World Cup, he won't even be as old as Deon Fourie. You got Malcolm Marx coming off the bench, 29 years old. He makes the next World Cup very comfortably. You know, Andre Pollard makes the next World Cup. Jesse Creel makes the next World Cup. Currie Lawrence makes the next World Cup. Yeah, I don't know. This whole sort of concept of, you know, we just have to have new players. I don't understand it. I really don't. You know, it's just the first proper inside the test window game we're playing for the World Cup against the number 2 side in the world, but the side that has been number 1 for how many years. I want to win these games. You know, we are so obsessed with this whole, we have to play the youth, we have to play the youth, we have to play the youth. We are going to play the youth. We are going to see new players. We've got 22-year-old Sash Feinberg on the bench. We've got Grant Williams on the bench. He's new to the setup. Salman Murat is a young player. Gerard Steenkamp is a new player to the setup. You know, Currie Lawrence, very new to the setup, for example. So we are going to see players being introduced, but we need to do it systematically. And you know, so now let's just start capping people for the sake of it. You know, Ben Jason Dixon's going to play 50 tests for the Springboks. Maybe he's not his career too late, but I think he could, genuinely. At least he's going to play at least 30, 40, I reckon. You know, I think he's that good. I think that from the looks of it, Jan Hendrik Vessel's going to play many tests for the Springboks. I think that Ethan Hooker, if he continues his progression, is going to play many caps for the Springboks. We've got a Portugal game in 2 weeks' time, by the way. I don't know if you missed it. We are going to see a completely different side for that. You know, and I think my biggest gripe, and I'm actually got a video coming on my own channel later, we need to be doing more between World Cups. Yes, I know being world champions is phenomenal. And we've done it twice, and it's been fantastic. And I'm never, ever going to try and ever take away from that. I believe we're good enough to be doing that, as well as being better in between World Cup cycles. I don't count the last World Cup cycle. We had a year of COVID. We had a British and Irish Lions series. It was not a normal World Cup cycle. We are now going into a normal World Cup cycle. We have got 3 years of incoming series, Rugby Championship, outgoing series, incoming series, outgoing championship, incoming series. We've got a New Zealand tour. coming up as well. But it's a far more normal sort of period. And I would like to win trophies during that. I would like to win Rugby Championships. I would like to dominate series. I would like us to be consistently the best team in the world. And I don't think we need to become, we all need to say, right, well, the World Cup's done. Everybody that's over 31 years old, out you go. Brand the new people. They get hammered. And what does that achieve? That's my problem. So let's go to some of the comments over here. Camper saying, I think Bugwise is saying perhaps for his career, place slash money in the team in the future. Yeah, so let's talk about money in the box, shall we? Rassie Erasmus addressed it and said that the reason that Money Bok is not in the side is simply because they went to a 6-2 split. Sash Famigom Zulu covers 10, 12, 15, which means that there's very little chance that the rest of the backline will really have to move around to accommodate him because he can start to two different positions. Where if Moiniba comes off the bench, at a push you can play at 15, but hasn't played there a lot. So chance he'll go at 10. You then have Pollard going at 12. For example, if Billy LaRue's coming off, you then have Ches and Colby going to 15. You got Damon Delindi going to 13. You got Jesse Creel going to 14. You all have to sort of shift around. Whereas Billy LaRue gets injured, Sash Fami Gomezulu comes on at fullback. If Kurt Lawrence or Ches and Colby get injured, Fami Gomezulu, or if Grant Williams come on in the wing, he covers wing. Bang, easy. Either the centers get injured, either Damon Delindi shifts to 13, Sasha goes to 12, or Sasha goes, or if Jesse's injured, or if Damon's injured, Sasha goes to 12, and nothing else changes. So you can see nothing much changes by having Sasha Fangams who can play 10, 12, 15. Same as Damien Willemster. So that is why my Bok's not been selected. Andre Pollard is still a number one fly half at the end of the day. And I think especially with Tony Brown really wanting to work with him. He's 30 years old, can make the next World Cup. Will we see Moini Bok again? Yeah, I think we'll see him against Portugal. And I think we'll be very interested to see how he goes. I think that, Pollard's come back, got back to full fitness, and is back to be number one. But I think Moini Bok's still very much part of the plans. So John saying, so also who goes to 8 if Kwaka gets hurt? Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, we have seen, I think Sia Khaleesi did actually play a few minutes at 8 for Racing. But it will probably be him or Mark Verstappen if really needs be. But I think the idea is that Kwaka Smith will play a full game at 8 ideally. Sia Khaleesi did play a game against Bayonne at 8. Fun fact. So those will probably be your two options really. So it is the only big position I think where we don't have cover. Everybody else is covered. So you do have to kind of take that risk, I suppose. I thought that Evan Rose might start and then Kwaka Smith would be coming off the bench. Obviously, then you've got two options at 8. But they obviously decided that what Kwaka Smith brings is enough to warrant that sort of risk. Jean says, I like to put Pimps aren't so as poor in the final. Pimpy did nothing wrong against Wales. What are you expecting from the attack? And then I'll go through the cover that's mentioned by Stephen there. So in terms of what I'm expecting from the attack, to be honest, I don't expect to see too much of what we saw against... I think we will see some of what we saw against Wales. I don't think we'll quite be as sporadic or risky. I think we're going to be far more structured. I think we're going to have to identify when to try attack, when to try be a bit more cautious, for example. So I think that's going to be quite important in terms of weighing up the pros and the cons. I think in Wales we were far more willing to take risks, which I don't think we're going to afford to do against Ireland. So I do expect to see some slight differences, but I don't think we're going to see too much. At the end of the day, again, we're going to play a game plan that's going to work against Ireland, get 2 tests done, and then probably try and start changing things up as we go. Right, so your cover at centre. Let's go through it, shall we? Your inside centre options, Damien Delindi, first choice. Andre Esterhuizen at second choice. You then got Ethan Hooker and Sashifami Gomezulu. Both those two very capable of playing 12. If really needs be, Andre Pollard can operate at 12. So those are your inside centre options. Delindi, Esterhuizen, Sashifami Gomezulu, Ethan Hooker, and Andre Pollard if really needs be. If you look at 13, you've then got Jesse Creel at number 1, Lekanya Ethan Hooker, Kanan Moody, by the way, who is available from next week, also can cover 13. And then if really needs be, Damien Delindi. So those are your sort of 5 options at inside centre, 5 options at outside centre. So when somebody the other day was talking about that there's not enough centres options in the squad, there are centre options, and again, we've got that standby list. So Jordan Hendrickson, for example, also covers 12 if needs be. Ethan Hooker being on the standby options can be drafted in whenever. whenever they need. If we look at, for example, I think I'm talking about the fullback options. Fullback options, number one choice would be Vilileru. After that, it becomes a bit more tricky. You've got BITDEFENDER, who's probably our second choice. You can then go to Sash Famigama Zulu. You can play Cheslin Colby there. Currie Orense has played there domestic level. For example, Monty Liebok has played there, but obviously I think if there's an injury to Vilileru or BITDEFENDER, Kuhn Horn gets drafted in. So those are kind of your options at 15. Obviously, when Damian Willemse returns, then he comes and slots into that. So again, I think there are lots of options at 15. It'll probably be Vilileru, BITDEFENDER. Then for me, potentially Kuhn Horn, I think will probably potentially start there. Maybe Sasha might start there ahead of him. But I think we're going to see potentially Kuhn Horn against Portugal. I think he might get drafted up. I'd like to see it. I think that he could be such a good asset to the box. So that's kind of where we're sitting at with that kind of depth. John saying, Steve, would you agree that the Currie Cup has now become a must-win for our Bulls with Hot Jacquard, Jake Assemble's team with Visa, Deontay, Kirsten, Ilman, Chamberlain, and others? Yeah, I mean, I think very interesting to see, especially with the whole resting protocol, you know, who's going to be playing for the various unions. But I do think that the Bulls probably need to go and win that. I think going short in the URC was heartbreaking. New coach in Pure is coming in for the Currie Cup, for example, and I think that they should. I mean, the Bulls' depth is ridiculous, so I would say that you're probably the early favourites. Mikhail saying for Sasha, I think this game will decide if he can play and perform against world-class teams. I mean, it won't be the be-all and end-all for him. He's going to play 50, 60 games for the box easy. And he's going to be in that block environment for a long time. If he has a bad game this weekend, he has a bad game this weekend. Maybe sometimes we realize maybe he's not quite ready for this level, for example. That doesn't mean he's not going to be. I mean, I don't think I think he is a player that will be world class. But I also maintain that Jordan Hendrickson will be international quality. So yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see how he goes this weekend. But I tell you right now, no player or very few players have careers that don't go up and down. So we need to be patient with Sacha Famigama-Zulu. He looked fantastic against Wales, and I'm really hoping he has a good run this weekend. But if he doesn't, we don't bin him. Okay, we back him, we support him, we tell him how we know he's going to be good, and we let him become good. I think that's so important, is that we need to stop binning our players and being far too reactionary when it comes to singular performances. Matthew Dixon say this is a great team. I think we will whitewash it. Andre saying it's a great team as well. Yassine saying always, yeah, I spoke about that. The fact that these cap players will get opportunities as we go. Amir saying I like the team, but Salman Murat might not be the best selection for this game. Yeah, I think very clearly missing Jean Klein there. When he's injured, I think he slots straight back into that number 4 jersey. And then we sort of go back to having that kind of depth. You obviously also don't have Lua Diaga, which is a big mix. Jean Klein's 31 years old, so I think he will still be around for the next couple of years. Lua Diaga, turns 32 this year, could also be around for another couple of years. It'd be really cool to get him back and playing. Obviously, after such a bad last year, very frustrating for him. Peter Dawson saying, first priority is to win a test match. There is a lot of time to play the new players before the World Cup. Once again, I will say winning is the first priority. I like the starting night very strong. 100% agree. That's where I'm at. Yes, we will blood players. We will bring in players. I want to win this weekend. I'm sorry. If we blooded players and we lost this weekend, I wouldn't sit there saying, oh, but you know what? It's actually positive because, you know, these young players got a chance and, you know, that's going to be really good for the World Cup in 4 years' time. No, I want to win. I want to beat Ireland this weekend. Like, I don't want us to go and win the World Cup and then press reset and then be cucked for the next few years. I want to win games. I want to beat Ireland. I want to win the Rugby Championship. I want to go over the end of the year tour. I want to beat England. England's one of my favorite players. That's probably my favorite team to beat away is England. I want to be winning these games. I want us to go on these like stupidly good runs of winning 12, 14, you know, like 3 home tests, like 3 years worth of home tests in a row. You know, I want us to go over to New Zealand and beat them. This is what I want to be able to do, and I don't see why we can't do that whilst slowly integrating new players. They will get integrated. We know. I mean, I understand. How have you watched Chasing the Sun? How have you not seen the Springbok coach staff and understand that they've got long-term plans, that they will be planning for next year? That's why we've effectively got a 46-man training group. When these players go down to Durban, by the way, Tukatunu and Siamasuku will be training, and will be training with them. They literally said that they'll bring him in and be training with them. You know, that's how it works. If they're playing in that sort of the same province, then they'll be training with them. When they come to Joburg, you probably find that Jordan Hendricks, Kuhn Horn, will be training with the squad because it doesn't cost money for them to bring in, but they get exposed to the situation. So, yeah, Lorenzo's saying Ireland has beaten this team, even as a 7-1 split. We bring nothing new to them. Looks like a defensive territory game, which they handled well. Well, I mean, it was not like they hammered us. It was a pretty close game. I mean, on a different day, we get to recycle that ball, which was called use it or lose it, and we score a try and we win the game. So, yes, they did handle it in terms of it being quite a close game, but I don't think Ireland's got much difference to what they were last year, which we also handled pretty well. So I think it's going to be a very interesting test because I think both teams kind of know what to expect. Both teams have had it before, and now it's a case of what will both teams produce on the day. Andres saying even the bench is great choice. Ricardo says best team, everyone deserves to be there. Jaden says we lost because we had no kicker, now we do, and we have different coaching staff. Ricardo saying Monty just covers 10. Seppo saying would have given the number 23 to Liebach. Feel like he gained valuable test rugby experience last year and has never had a bad game for the Boks, just as goal kicking is consistent. So he mentioned that earlier. The sole reason because of that 6-2 split, because Sash Palmer-Gomez-Zulu covers 3 positions, Monty Liebach really only covers just 10. Jean said, I think we should look at a guy like Bernard Janssen from Rensburg for our midfield players like the Kanye and Jesse Creel mixed together. Unfortunately, I don't think he's actually really on the radar. MB saying, good luck to my South African friends and wishing both teams a healthy game. Greetings to all from Miami. Learning about your sport, great sport, excited to try and watch some of the game. Well, welcome, MB. You're in the right place, both in terms of the sport as well as the channel to watch the sport. Because, as you can see in the comments, very passionate rugby fans here. So make sure you come and join the watch along on Saturday. Ask all the questions you'd like. If I don't get to answer you, the people in the comments will answer. We've got a very good community of people over there who will give you the lowdown on what is cooking. And a lot is cooking, which is very, very cool. And yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. So it's going to be fun. Players who I'm very keen to see. I'm very keen to see Malcolm Marx off the bench. I want to see him back to close to his best. I'm very keen to see how Sash Palmer-Gomez-Zulu goes. I'm very keen to see the way Andre Pollard plays because I think, again, that's what Tony Brown spoke about, the fact that he wants to get him back to being kind of the player he was when he was at under 20 level in terms of his attacking nature and the way that he liked to take the ball to the gain line. And I don't think that has to be read as a criticism. I think this is sometimes a problem as fans. We're far too reactionary. With Tony Brown sort of saying, he wants to try and improve him in certain areas, and everyone's going, well, he's already the best. We don't have to be reactionary. We can sit there and say Andre Pollard is a world-class goal kicker, and we can sit there in the same breath and say Monty Liebach gets our backline going better. Monty Liebach offers far more attacking options than Andre Pollard. It's what we grapple with during the World Cup. We played better with Monty Liebach. Our backline's more lethal with Monty Liebach, but Andre Pollard's more reliable, especially also defensively. Now, Tony Brown's saying, well, I want to try and get them both to being a bit close to each other. I want to make sure Monty Liebach's got that sort of goal-kicking edge. I want to make sure Andre Pollard is got more attacking options, more attacking fluidity. So I don't understand why we have to get so upset by anybody sort of suggesting that anybody can improve, because everybody can improve, and you're never too old to improve. Andre Pollard, for example, has been playing in a system over the years, which I think has sort of turned him into quite not a boring or negative, but he's not a ball-playing fly half. That's just kind of the way things have gone for his career, and he never really needed to be. And it's worked for him, and he's made it work for him. He's one of the best fly half, if not the best fly half in the world on this day. That doesn't mean to say that we can't then say, but we know you got it in you. How do we unlock that? How do we sort of get you playing a bit like that again? Because he's not like he's going to suddenly forget how to tackle or forget how to kick for goals just because all of a sudden, people are saying, Tony Brown's saying, cool, Lekker, look for that gap. What about that chip over the top? Do you have that grubber in you? Do you have that inside ball? And the big thing that we've been getting from the coaches is that the Boks are looking to find space. That's like the big thing that Tony Brown apparently seems to be sort of really is focusing on, is the fact that they really want to focus on identifying space and where do they find that space. And that's like, the new laws, for example, the DuPont law, which now that's going to create more space. How do the Boks see that space? How do they identify that space? How do they then attack that space, use that space? That's been apparently a very big focus for Tony Brown. And, why why can't Andre Pollard improve on that and say, all right, cool, I'm also going to be part of it. I'm also going to be part of the finding space, looking for space, exploiting that space. So yeah, that was my sort of thoughts on the whole sort of Andre Pollard, Tony Brown situation. A lot of people were very upset about it. I was like, I don't know why. Like, I was actually quite excited by the idea. You know, you want to try and take one of the best flyers in the world and improve him and say, let's add more to your game. That should be exciting. It's not, you know, I mean, some people are going off Tony Brown, oh, he was an average fly half. It's like, it's such a weird response. Like, he said in the press conference, you know, we all know how good he is. This is this part of this game, which I think that he's not doing anymore, and I'd like to look at that and try and bring that back. Why do we always have to take it as an insult? We mustn't be so triggered. Need to be a bit calmer about these things. Need to be a bit more open-minded about these things. So I look at that side and I'm excited by it. You know, it's not surprising, but why change what's not broken? Why change a side that won the World Cup? Then went toe-to-toe for Ireland, with Ireland for that whole sort of 80 minutes. Ireland are not also going to change a lot. We're not suddenly going to see, you know, new combinations this weekend. I don't think we're going to suddenly see, you know, Andrew Porter and Ty Furlong on the bench with Dan Sheehan as an impact squad. We're not going to see that. Look, maybe we might. I mean, jeepers. But Andy Farrell is very much like, a bit like Rassie Erasmus. Here's my team. I'm not changing it. And even today, when I was in the Irish press conferences, they spoke about the fact that they're focusing more and more on themselves these days. You know, that they're no longer focusing on the opposition, and that was something that Paul O'Connell, who was in the press conference, that was what he was really wanted to focus on. He said during his time, you know, when he was playing, that, you know, they were far more focused on the opposition, and he said, and there's not necessarily a right and a wrong way, but he said that maybe sometimes they focus too much on their opposition. Whereas he said that now, as a coaching staff, they're trying to focus more on themselves, and they'll kind of adapt to a certain degree to the opposition, but they're not going to let that be the be-all and end-all, and they want to focus on what they do well. And I mean, this is coming from a guy who played, you know, over 100 games for Ireland, played for the British and Irish Lions, and he's been involved with the Irish squad for the last couple of years, so he knows what he's talking about. And I think that's what's made Ireland so successful, is that they have, to a certain degree, they have stopped focusing on everybody else and just said, right, how do we just become the best team we can be? And it's the other team's jobs really to try and stop us. And a lot of other teams have struggled to stop that. So yeah, I think it's quite a good way of doing it. I don't personally have much of an issue with it, and I think it's quite healthy, actually, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, Egbert is injured. Matthew Dix is saying, I don't think RSA fans appreciate Bok rugby is, and Francois Best saying, Snare Hammer needs 2 or 3 games of box to prove himself. I think he would improve our attacking play. He might get opportunities, Snare Hammer. I think there'll have to be a couple of injuries. But let's wait and see. I think that he'll, if he ever plays the box, he'll be more at 9. I don't think he'll ever play a box game at 10. And I don't want to be that person to say, oh, he's too small, whatever, but I think he is very, very small. So yeah, I think that's also, I think it's played a big part. You know, you look at how good defensively Jordan Hendricks is, you're not getting the same thing with Snare Humber, unfortunately. But we'll wait and see. People, we're gonna sign off there. As I said, Paul O'Connell press conference coming up very soon. Very shortly, kept it out on the channel as well. We've got the Rassie Erasmus press conference up as well, so go and check that out. Let me know what you think of the team if you're watching this retrospectively in the comments below. If you are new and watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, join us over the week. Various different press conferences coming up throughout the week, and we'll have them all here on Forever Sports. So this is the place to be. Thank you very much.